The Valhalla crash is a frightening scenario. Caught there in the crossings with those gates surrounding you. In Connecticut, you only have seconds to react, and how you respond in that time can make all the difference between life and death.
Yeah, it's still tough, sure. It definitely is.
It's been nearly 10 years, but for Will Metzermacher, the train crash at this Waterford crossing is fresh in his mind. His grandmother, 61-year-old Patricia Metzermacher, and his two young cousins, 8-year-old Zachary, 4-year-old Courtney, were killed. Will can barely talk about what happened. Will's grandmother's car was on the tracks when an Amtrak train hit at 70 miles per hour.
It's right down the road, you know, it's always there. You always have that reminder of hearing that train go by, and, you know, it always gives you that, that hair raising on your neck.
In the last 10 years in Connecticut, trains have killed 7 people, injured 32. And in the past year alone, rail incidents in Connecticut have tripled.
A tow truck now removing a car that crashed into a Metro North train around noon today.
A haunting reminder of the dangers just 3 months ago in Valhalla, New York. An SUV driven by Ellen Brody slammed into by a Metro North train, killing 6 people. Witnesses say the crossing gates came down on the back of Brody's car, trapping her there in the danger zone. She moved forward into the train's path. If you were ever to find yourself trapped between those crossing gates, every second counts. And from the very moment that those lights start flashing, there are 29 seconds before the train is right here on the tracks. Once those crossing gates are down, if your car is stuck between them, there is just 12 seconds to react. 12 seconds that can make all the difference between life and death.
If you find yourself caught between the gates, go around the gates as fast as you can.
If you have to, officials say bust through the gates. They're made to break away. And if your car stops working,
Immediately exit the vehicle. Run from the vehicle, usually at a 45-degree angle towards the direction of the train. So when the train does hit your vehicle, you're not hit by the parts that are exploding off your vehicle.
So here's what that would look like. It may sound confusing to run towards the train, but watch this. If your car is disabled, you've got to get out and run in the direction the train is coming from. So when the train smashes your car, you're not near all that flying metal and glass from the crash. Experts say a speeding train can push a car up to a mile away from the collision. In Connecticut, less than half of the 366 railroad crossings have lights and crossing gates, but warning devices aren't always the issue. The Federal Railroad Administration reports that half of crossing accidents nationwide still happen, even with those warning devices in place. Bottom line, you have to stay alert.
That's actually the train, the same train.
Will was just in the 7th grade when his grandmother was gone in an instant.
I remember I got a lime green Game Boy for Christmas one year.
A memory of her from his childhood amid a lifetime of heartbreak. So again, it might seem like common sense, but if you are in that situation and you panic, you get scared, remember those crossing gates, you can just bust right through them. And if you have to, which I think almost sounds counterintuitive, run towards the train as the piece was showing you so that you aren't caught up in that debris field.
Yeah, it makes such perfect sense, but something if you think about it now and try and put that in your head, so in that moment of panic, because it seemed like you wouldn't want to run toward it, you want to run away from it. But that makes sense, doesn't it?
And for people that go through these crossings every single day, it doesn't really affect them. They know the train, they know the pattern. It is like the Ellen Brody case. When you're in a crossing you've never been to before, it's a frightening scenario all around.
Everything went wrong all at that one time.
Exactly.
Great information, Ann.
Thanks, Darren. Well, you can hear that whole Ellen Brody interview. You'll find it right there on our website at WTNH.com. And anytime you have something you want the News 8 investigators to look into, give them a call. The tip line there on your screen, it's 203-402-TIP-8.